Whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, do you feel like you're getting kind of burnt out on the entire concept of the government? A lot of us are. In today's video, I'm going to be explaining exactly why that is. But first, I need to introduce myself. My name is Chad, and this is The Hopeful Homestead. And here on this channel, I like to do this little series of videos called Coffee Talk, where I sit in my little tiny cabin on wheels out here on my family's property that we're calling The Hopeful Homestead. I like to talk to all the husbands and dads out there that are just trying to make it through life and figuring things out. But in today's video, we're talking about why less government is better. I grew up personally as a conservative Republican in a Republican household, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I have many friends that grew up that way. I have many friends that grew up in Democrat households. A lot of reasonable people out there that aren't a part of the outer fringes of both sides of the political spectrum that honestly, ever since 2020, ever since everything that's been going on in our country for the past 5 years, we're all kind of wandering around thinking to ourselves, man, I'm just sort of tired of the entire political spectrum. I'm tired of feeling like I'm being pulled one way or the other. And no matter what, my taxes seem to go to absolutely wasteful things. And no matter what, the government always oversteps its bounds in my life. Now, if you're a person that just truly believes the government's batting 1,000 and that they've never been wrong, then I don't know if this video is for you, but I know many of us don't feel that way. And whether you're from the right or the left, historically, I think we can all agree that we should stop putting so much stock and stop putting so much faith in the government as being this wonderful protector of our rights. We need to realize that our rights are God-given and that they're something for us to hold ourselves, and the government needs to get out of the way. That's why I like to call myself now a Libertarian Conservative. I still have my conservative roots and values. I still vote Republican because that is what mostly coincides with all of my views, political views and beliefs as a Christian man. Believe me, there's still plenty of things I don't agree with. And in the end, I don't believe the government, no matter who's in charge, always has your best interest at heart. I believe there's always some element of wrongdoing and evil going on, whether it's the conservatives or the liberals in charge. So the responsibility is on us to stay informed, to stay in the know, to understand what's going on, to not just be a sitting duck for the government to be able to take advantage of. And once you start paying attention to things, you start realizing all the ways that the government is overstepping its bounds and trying to pull one over on us. After 2020 and everything that happened with COVID, I don't know how anybody can honestly say that they just have full faith in the government. With the amount of stuff that they were pushing on us and the ridiculous mandates that were placed on us, and the closures of things, the way that the government just basically tested its capability of controlling our lives, and then seeing how the cultural response would be, I was shocked at how many people were just happy to report on their neighbors and happy to report on if you were wearing a mask or not, or people yelling. I remember going into Walmart and some lady yelling out of her car because my 3-year-old didn't have a mask on, yelling at me for not having a mask on my 3-year-old. And I'm like, do you realize a 3-year-old's not going to keep a mask on their face? Much less that 3-year-olds weren't affected by the virus. Getting off on a tangent there about COVID, but after that entire experience, it really revealed to me it's not as much about Republican or Democrat. It's more about people who want to be truly free and people who are totally willing to let the government and let others influence them and control their lives. People who are comfortable with outsourcing their freedom versus people who know that their freedom is inherently theirs to give up. And so I will always vote based on libertarian conservative principles as like I said, a conservative at my roots, but with libertarian flair now of the way libertarians just don't want the government involved at all. They want the government to be as small as possible. That's where I am now. I just find that the government really never benefits me. I really never have, other than the military protecting us, but even that is abused in a lot of ways now. Ultimately, my rights come from God and my freedoms come from God, and the government only ends up standing in the way of that. The smaller the government is, the less government that there is, the better my life is. I know this is speaking in big, broad generalizations right now that is kind of far from reality, because ultimately the government is already too big and powerful to really pull back in a lot of ways. I think on our own, as individuals, we need to start taking more stock in our own personal responsibilities and lives and worrying less about how the government can benefit our lives. We'd work a little harder, we'd be a little bit more moral, and we'd honestly be better off in a lot of ways. But all right, guys, that's been another episode of Coffee Talk. Again, this is The Hopeful Homestead. My name is Chad. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.